Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Saturday, May the 4th be with you. A very exciting day for me. I get to go see Star Wars tonight, watching The Phantom Menace as re-released in theaters, so I'm excited for that. Sorry for people who aren't Star Wars fans out there, but it's one of my biggest things. So, you having a good weekend, Dad?
So far, yeah, it's been nice, good weather. It's a little bit warmer. It's been cold the last few weekends, so going to the soccer game tonight, so I'm very happy.
Yeah. Week removed from the draft. Finally got some numbers. We're going to talk about some of that. Talk about some of the rookies, some of the free agents that we signed undrafted, a couple other moves around the NFL that we want to talk about. Not really around the NFL, but revolving around the Eagles. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it. As always, we want to give a shout out to our Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. We meet for every single Eagles game at Frankie's on Powers and Galley. We want to send our I don't even know what to say, prayers or thoughts or well wishes to Jamie and the staff of Frankie's and everything. Unfortunately, last Saturday there was a storm down here in Colorado Springs with rain and snow and everything like that. Kind of came out of nowhere. Unless you were watching the.
It was coming, yeah.
We knew it was coming, but it was a lot more intense than I expected, and it ended up flooding Frankie's. Caused a lot of damage, and we don't know when they're going to be open. When I saw Jamie last, she said that they were hoping to be, they'd be lucky if they're open by football season. So we really hope everything's well there. I believe we're going to be having a fundraiser at some point to help out. That's what Ben was talking about. We'll share that all with you if that comes to fruition, and we'll talk about that on here, of course. But as always, like we said, we love Frankie's. It's part of our community as much as each other. As much as the fans and the team. That bar is just as important to us, and so is Jamie and all of her staff and everything. So, really hope everything goes well there, and hopefully we can help out any way we can. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to talk about the numbers from each draft. I'm going to talk about the number, or I'll mention the number. We'll say what we think. My dad's going to talk about some players in the past that were numbered.
The tentative jersey numbers.
Yeah, tentative jersey. That's true. Everything can always change, especially during final roster cuts. People get cut that have their number. They jump over to it, stuff like that. But we're also going to talk about percentage of chance of making the team. So we're going to say, what chance does this guy have of making the team? We're going to talk about it in percentages for all the drafts. And we'll start from the beginning with Quinyon Mitchell, who's going to be wearing number 30. Dad, what's your thoughts there?
Number 30, we have a couple big name 30s. We had Brian Mitchell at one point, Charlie Garner, and then, of course, Super Bowl hero Corey Clement, 100 yards receiving, touchdown. So, hopefully he can become – this is the one thing about the jerseys. We want him to become the number one guy in the future that we say, oh, who's the best Eagle that wore that number? So
yes, that's exactly
that's kind of that's why I kind of looked in some of the numbers that were given out. So
I know there's a lot of people out there who don't care about the numbers. I don't know how you don't care about the numbers. To me, I don't know. It's such a big deal. I'm huge. I'm a big number guy. So for me, it's always like I love to see a good number. Number 30 is a terrible number. Hopefully he makes it a great number.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Right.
I'm sure before Brian Dawkins was 20 that great of a number.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
He made that number iconic, really around the NFL, not just the Eagles. That number belongs to him. You know what I mean? So hopefully he makes that number belong to him. We'll see. I hate the number 30, but we'll see. And he might change. A lot of people were hoping he'd be number 27, kind of taking on the Malcolm Jenkins number.
Okay.
Obviously, Zach McPherson is number 27 right now. We don't know if he'll make the team or not.
Right.
Last year it was looking like he was going to be the number one backup corner or slot corner,
right?
A nickelback.
It's all changed now, buddy.
Now we don't know.
The whole
don't know what's
changed.
Don't know what's happening. Percentage of making the team, Dad.
Oh, 100%. Probably week one starter from
I would say.
Mind.
I would agree with you.
I think we definitely got a guy that's going to play right away.
Yeah, so. I agree with you there. Next, we'll go to Cooper DeJean, second-round pick that we traded up for. Another horrible number, number 33.
Yeah, not a very popular NFL number.
He was number 3 in college, so it makes sense that he would go along the same lines to do that.
Right.
But a horrible number.
He didn't stay with number 3, so.
Yeah, number 3 wouldn't have been much better.
No, I agree.
Especially because, again, and I know a lot of people are going to go, I don't care, but I hate when they change the rules to where defense can wear
whatever. Yeah, the funny thing is, during the preseason, they're going to look over to you and go, hey, who's that?
Exactly.
And you'll go, well, you got to know the numbers there, buddy. Yeah. That's Cooper.
But that's the thing, that when they made that rule change where defensive players could wear any number they wanted to, I was
livid.
Yeah. Makes me sick. Seeing Micah Parsons as number 11 makes me want to throw up. Every time I see that, even Slay as number 2, I hate it. I can't stand it.
I'm not a big number guy either, but I know, of course, some of the big name players in their number. Other guys, I go,
Hassan Reddick, number 7, it's disgusting to me. I can't stand it.
Yeah, that's a quarterback number.
Not a defensive back number. Defensive end.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because in the old days, they were very regimented. You couldn't play with those numbers at all. And now it's kind of funny when you see it. You go like say Reddick. Of course, he made a name for himself with that number.
That's true.
But for the most part, he should have been number 93 or
that's
whatever.
The thing. And I know it doesn't look right to his body, but
something.
Okay, Cooper DeJean, number 33. What you got?
Well, there's not, because it's one of those numbers that really has not been worn much. The most popular Eagle, the best, if you will, the Eagle everywhere that number's names was Russ Kraft. He was a defensive back, 2-time NFL champion with the Eagles in the 40s. So when they won in the 40s, that's when he got his. He had like 19 interceptions, maybe a couple Pro Bowls back in the day. But Russ Kraft. So I've never even heard of him until I looked up this number.
Yeah, 33 is bad. I'm trying to pull up something real quick to see.
Yeah, it's funny how
the greatest number 33 of all time.
Right, and that's the other thing. So you got to look at NFL as opposed to just Eagles.
Just the Eagles, yeah. Gotcha. Let me see here. It's taken forever.
That's all right.
Of course. Terrell Davis was 30. It was good for him. 33, they have the best number 33 is Sammy Baugh.
Okay, old-time quarterback in the old 40s.
Number 33 should not be a quarterback number. Let's move on.
That's true.
Percentage of
100%. 100%. This guy has really made some name for himself, and even with his post-drafts, when they give you the grades and everything, we really got, because of him, we got really the A+. So
yeah. The other thing about Cooper DeJean, I still don't know. I think it's DeJean. Yeah. The other thing about him, I just like DeJean because it's DeJean. We can call him DeJean Jackson.
Right. I'll get you.
Or like in Philly, DeJean. You know what I mean? We can call him John.
Yeah.
I was reading about him earlier. I was at work, and we were just in a slow part, and I was working today, of course, and I looked him up, and I just kind of read a little bit about his high school career, and big basketball player. We kind of knew about that. He's really an athlete. He's not, he's one of those guys. In the world, there are football players, there are basketball players, and then there's baseball. There's different sports, people who play sports, and then there's athletes, guys who are good at. They could be good at anything. When they put the ball in their hand, they're going to be good at it. He was a big track and field star, we knew that. But he was also a basketball player. And here it is. In basketball, his 1,832 career points rank him behind Iowa and NFL tight end T.J. Hawkinson, and 55 points ahead of Harrison Barnes. I know you might not know who that is. Big player in the NBA, won a championship with the Warriors back in 2015.
Okay.
He was on that team, and then he got kind of kicked off, but he's on the Kings now. But he's a pretty good basketball player. But in his 218 steals, ranks him on the state's all-time list, 8 ahead of Marcus Page. I know you don't know who that is either. Probably he's an old NBA player. Now he's a coach for, I think, North Carolina as a player development or something like that.
Right.
And then he also had at the time of his high school graduation, he had the 6th best long jump in state history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
he's not that tall.
Yeah. No. He's 6'1", but he's South Dakota was where he was from. And the other thing was he had 2 offers coming in. It's funny because they were talking about, despite being a 4-star recruit and an amazing athlete across all these sports and fast, and he only had a few offers. And he came down between Iowa to play cornerback or defensive back and being a quarterback at South Dakota State. Wow. So he was a quarterback in high school too. As a senior, he passed for almost 3,500 yards and 35 touchdowns, and he rushed for 24 touchdowns and 1,200 yards. So he's
one of those.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. I don't have that on every player. I just had it on Cooper DeJean because I saw it today.
Some things about him and how diverse he was as an athlete coming out of high school.
Big time. Throw him in running back. Here we go.
Well, I heard on, you never know. They might have a few plays here and there, little trick plays or whatever.
I still don't know why we haven't ran Jordan Mailata at the 1-yard line.
That's right.
We don't have to QB push it every time.
No.
Let's get Mailata in there as a running back.
Blast it through.
Next, we've got Jalix Hunt, 3rd-round pick. Number 58. We have a really great number 58.
Yeah. Well, we all know Trent Cole, right? Number 2 all-time sacks in the Eagles' history. 85.5 sacks behind Reggie White only. So, this is a pretty big number for him to carry, but hopefully he can make a dent in that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if he develops up and becomes a guy that we talk about in years to come.
Definitely. The last number 58 was kind of was pretty terrible. It was Jannard Avery. Before him was Jordan Hicks, who was a great 58.
Yes, he was.
He wore it well. He
did.
It was like, he looks like a good 58.
He did.
But he was a great number 58 as a player.
I agree.
But yeah, Jannard Avery, that was bad. But
for too many years.
Yeah. What's your percentage of making the team?
Let's see. For him, I've got 95% because I think we've got a need on the edge, and I think they're going to want to develop. But I mean, if final roster, very possible he might be on the practice squad.
Yeah.
But I think he's got a very good shot of making it. Maybe early, and just see what he does. If we can get him out there.
I got a 97%. I mean, like you said, it's basically almost 100 because he was a third round pick, and usually, first to third round, they always make it.
We want to try him. We don't want to get to like we did. They kept saying, well, the Eagles never play first round picks, never play their rookies. Well, you gotta change that. I think you got to throw them out there.
I think that was a big problem last year. Yeah,
got to do it, man.
58 greatest of all time. They have Derek Thomas. That makes sense.
Oh, for sure. Sack leader of all time. I believe.
My buddy Lane's a big fan. I put 97%. Like you said, I mean, I almost think there's no chance he doesn't make the roster.
Right.
But I'll give it that 3% just because he is seen as a project. So practice squad is possible, but I expect him to make the roster.
Well, it's funny because there was some news that Fangio, that was his greatest. He really wanted him. He wanted him prior to the draft. So I mean, you take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Next one, we got another bad number coming up. Will Shipley, running back that we drafted in the 4th round, going to be number 39.
39.
I remember when Eli Ricks last year became number 39. I was like, okay, like. Hopefully he changes that number next. Yeah. He's number 23 now, which is okay.
Right.
Rodney McLeod was great.
Right.
But number 39 is a pretty terrible number. What do you have?
It's another one of those numbers that were not used much in our team. But we had Quentin Demps at one point. He was a good kickoff return guy. And Sheldon Brown, not many people know, he was number 39 for a couple seasons. Yeah. Then he changed to 24. So, but it's not a very popular number. I couldn't even tell you in the NFL.
Yeah. Greatest number 39, they have Larry Zonka.
Oh, yeah, he was a big one.
And then some honorable mentions, they had Steven Jackson and Hugh McElhenney.
So running backs. Yeah, all running backs.
Yeah. What do you give
Zonka? He was awesome.
What do you got him as percentage-wise?
I've got him down at, we're at 65% as far as making the final roster.
Wow.
I know we need running back, but I don't know. We might get Barkley's going to be the man, and you got Gainwell out there still. So I don't know.
Man, that's low.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
I'm going 80%. Obviously, you got to take some percentage off as the 4th round pick, but
it might get grab a free agent. That's all
we have is Saquon and Gainwell, so I can't imagine he doesn't make the roster. Let's go to our 5th rounder, Anais Smith, wide receiver. He's going to be number 82. I know you got something to say about that.
Well, number 82, of course, Mike Quick. And the funny thing is, not only was he a great player on the field for us, then he went right up in the booth with Merle, and he's been there for 15, 20, 25 years, something like that.
Yeah, when did he start that?
Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He should get some of that. What do you call it? The Veterans Committee. I believe he still has a shot at. I just think he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a great receiver. He didn't have a very long career.
That's where
he was up top, though, man. He led the league one year in receiving yards, like 1,400 yards, and then I think he's our third time. He's our third overall third wide receiver with 6,400 yards.
There's just no way he can be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he only has touchdowns. He only has 3 years of 1,000 yards. There's just no way. That's short change. That's easy nowadays. Yeah. 61 touchdowns in his career, but he played 9 years though. 61's bad for 9 years. I mean, he played from 82 to 90. That's 9 years, right?
Yeah, but he played in some weird years too. That year in transition there. In the mid-'80s was rough. I'm surprised he played till 89. He must not have done much in 89 at all.
No, he played till 90. In 90, he only had 9 catches. It's just,
Yeah, it's kind of a bad kind of years there for...
Played in 101 games, only 61 touchdowns. That's rough. That's a little rough.
Yeah.
Greatest 82 of all time. I don't know. This website I went to is like the slowest loading website in history. So maybe
a lot of wide receivers were 82.
I'll try to come back to that or something like that. But I mean, Mike Quick might not be far off from that, but 82 is not a big number for NFL either.
Not really, no. But it's definitely wide receivers, especially the
LJ Smith. LJ Smith was 82. They have Ozzie Newsome.
Okay, tight end. So it's more of a tight end number.
Raymond Berry, Jason Witten.
Yeah.
John Stallworth. Okay.
Yeah. So you got a lot of tight ends, a couple wide receivers. Big names, though.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the next guy, the one we're all excited for, all around the league, or all around the Eagles fandom.
On my percentage for
I'm sorry.
What they say, 65%.
Okay, I got 60%. I got 60%. It's hard because you want to give him more because he looks like he could be an explosive third wide receiver in the slot and outside. But after we signed Campbell and Devontae Parker,
the veterans,
it does kind of bring his percentage down a little bit. I still think he has a more than good enough chance of making the roster, but I got 60%. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Let's go to the next one. Jeremiah Trotter, the one we're all excited for. Going to be number 54, of course. We all knew it. We all hoped for it. We all wished for it. We got it. We won.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah, it's just a great draft as far as that goes, how he fell to us. And, a lot of us were on the chat there hanging out, hoping we get him, And sure enough, we kept moving down, trading all around. We still ended up getting him. But it's funny, though, some of the national press, they weren't so high on him, even though he was very, very
it is weird.
Sought after prior to the draft. So it's just funny how
so weird how it happens.
When a player kind of drops like that, the whole the nation just, I don't know, maybe he's not going to make it. It's just funny.
It's so weird.
I have him down here for 95% making our roster. I believe he's going to be a big piece of this year's team. I really do, man. Yeah. Now, of course, we all know the famous number 54 was the Axeman, which was his dad, right? So
greatest 54 of all time, too. No, I'm just kidding.
It's in the Eagles,
it's for Eagles for sure.
But there's been a lot of huge Eagles. I mean, a lot of 54, big 54s. It's a big number, large number.
I like numbers that go in order. Unfortunately, because I hate the players that wear it, but number 12, 1-2. It's a great number.
Right.
But, of course, unfortunately, it's ruined because it's Brady and Rodgers.
Yeah.
And
Staubach,
is he 12?
Oh, yeah.
So it's unfortunate because it's a terrible number.
There's so many players number 12.
I love, 21, 23. It's a good number, and it also looks good when it's in half.
34 was always a great
34 is a great number. Yeah. It's a great number. 50, not enough people wear it.
56.
56 was yours?
Yeah.
43, 34, 56, 65 is great.
Yeah.
77 is the best. That was mine. All right. Yeah. Greatest 54 they have on here is Randy White. It's a bummer.
Great linebacker. Yes. So we're talking the linebacker.
He sucked.
No, he was great.
I know.
He was a great player.
54 is really only going to be a linebacker number. There's probably some defensive ends out there. Well, Brandon Graham was 54 when he was first started.
Okay.
He was drafted, right? 54? Yeah.
55. Huh?
Then he changed to 55. So, 54, it's a pretty good number for us in the past, I guess, the last few times. Sure. When's the last 54? Did we have one? Bradham was 53, so I don't know if we had any other 54s. They might have been holding it since Graham, but I'm going to give him an 85%. You gave him 95.
I got 95,
I don't think there's any chance he doesn't make the roster.
He won't be on the practice squad.
I'll drop it down to 85 just because he was a late pick. But
there you go, Brian Urlacher. So
honorable mention Brian
Thomas. These are all major linebackers.
So why is White above Urlacher? Not a chance. Neither of them should even be above Wagner.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, Levante David, Zach Thomas.
I bet you Randy White had major all pros.
Sure,
he was a great team.
I'm sure he did.
Player.
Let's go to the next one. Trevor Keegan. Number 79. We've had a good history of number 79.
Yes, we do. Well, we got Brandon Brooks is probably the greatest because he's a Super Bowl winner. So he was the starting guard on the Super Bowl teams. But Todd Herman's, of course, great. You're saying, 12, 13 years in the league for us.
Yeah.
Never got an all-pro or first team or something.
We were talking about it downstairs. Todd Herman.
Yeah.
He's one of those players where
player.
He was always –
you could count on him.
He was always the fifth best guard or the sixth best guard, right outside of the Pro Bowl, All-Pro. Right. He was consistently known as
games.
Never. He was consistent. He was consistently known as a top 10, top 5 guard.
What years was he with us?
He was with us from 2005 to 2014.
Okay, so he was on the kind of the end of the run there.
He was
going to the NFC Championship games, but
it's a story because
he's in a lot of playoff games.
He also. In his career with us, he played every position on the offensive line except center.
Wow!
At one point in his career, he played every.
Don't see that anymore.
He played every single position on our offensive line except for center.
That's crazy.
That is incredible. Wow. Yeah, he was always that. He was right on the fringe of being a Pro Bowl, All Pro. He was always because two guards go from each division, right? Conference, right?
Yes.
2 guards. He was always the 3rd guard,
Right.
4th guard, right there. I give Trevor Keegan a percentage of 70% to making this team. He is considered to be kind of a project with a little bit of work, but with Stoutland and a guy being from Michigan, I mean, he was a captain.
I got 75.
But he's a captain on the Michigan. I can't imagine. If he's not on the team, he'll be on the practice squad. But if he's not on, honestly, if he gets cut, he'll get grabbed by someone else.
I think, with the numbers that we have, it's pretty solid that he will make the,
Oh, without a doubt.
Because
Driscoll gone. Opeda's gone.
Right. The backup guys that we had for years.
Yes.
There.
Who else? I'm thinking left. I'm sorry. Driscoll, Opeda. Is it just those 2? Maybe I'm talking out my butt.
I don't know.
I think it's just those 2. Yeah. Offensive line. But those guys were that guard position, that swing tackle,
and they were both quality starters.
Absolutely.
So you did lose a couple of guys, of course, with Dickerson taking over. That kind of probably made him a little bit not unhappy as hanging around because they're like, I don't want this guy. I don't think he's better than I am, but apparently he is. So that's the way it works.
Sorry, who are you talking about?
Dickerson. So Sua and Driscoll left because they couldn't crack the starting lineup.
Well, they kind of knew Tyler Steen was on his way of taking that spot.
Right. I mean, that's the hope really that this kid here, Keegan, can push him a little bit to get him there. Because I know he only played a few games, which, again, was that rookie thing. We never play him. But unfortunately, if we had, we would at least known a little bit more. Because Opeta was really good. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, he only, you could pop that rookie in there just to see if you're ready for the next year. You got to continue to have that offensive line. So
that's weird. For some reason, they hate it. 79, they have best as Roosevelt Brown.
Okay, I don't know him.
I have no idea who that is. Honorable mentions: Ray Childress, Coy Bacon, Bob St. Clair. I
don't really know.
Bad number. It looks like
I don't know those guys too well.
It's a pretty bad number.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, we got Johnny Wilson. Going to be wearing number 89. 89 doesn't really have much of a history with us.
Right.
I mean,
Chad Lewis. Calvin Williams was a great wide receiver. We're talking 89, right? He was great. He was great for us. He had a lot of touchdowns when he was probably 5 years we had him. He was a really good player. And then I also have Wally Henry, who was a kick returner, punt returner in the late 70s. Okay. So they're the big 89.
Stoll was 89, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stoll was 89. So he's the best. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hard.
So who is it? Is it Chad Lewis or is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chad Lewis was probably the biggest name other than Calvin Williams was big too, but he was in that little area there where we didn't really do that well. So playoffs and things like that.
I got 22% for Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson, I got 10%.
Yeah,
just because of
the I could see him definitely being on the practice squad.
A 6'7" wide receiver. I mean,
he'll be on the practice squad, but as far as the final cuts, the roster, I can't imagine him being on the team.
Right, right.
It's just how it is.
He would not make the roster.
It's just how it is. Greatest 89, they've got Steve Smith Sr.
We know who he is.
Yeah, we know who he is.
Great wide receiver.
Mike Ditka as an honorable mention.
Oh, tight end. Wow.
Yeah. Santana Moss. Santana Moss, too. All right, next one we got Dylan McMahon. Wearing number 63. Good number.
Yeah, we all know that number.
I like that number, 63.
Hank Fraley.
It's a good half number. Yes, definitely.
He was there for 10 years with us or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's an offensive line coach for the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
And he made their offensive line one of the best last year.
10 postseason games for us. So he played in a lot of playoff games for us. Also, I think I saw it was 101 starts or whatever, something like that. So he wasn't around that many years, but he definitely was a solid
he was with us for 6 years. He went to the Super Bowl with us. And he but it's funny, he's not it's similar to Harriman.
Right.
He wasn't never the Pro Bowl, never the All Pro, but he was always 16 games and he was always part of one of the best offensive linemen. It's funny.
And what were his years? Did it say
2000 to 2005?
Okay, so those were the years that we went to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I know.
Every year. So
isn't that funny?
He should have got some pub after a couple of them, but
it's funny how it works. I can't pull up the best 63. This thing is the slowest page.
It's kind of hard to, when if you're not winning the bowl, that's kind of when you.
Oh, for sure.
And there was probably some great.
Jason
centers around at the time.
Jason winning the bowl made it, it's set,
and then going to another one, of course.
Yeah, it just made it. It's set now. We don't have to worry about that. We knew then and there that it was
because that's not the 100% key, but for a lot of players it is. You know?
Let's see. What do you have as percentage for Dylan?
I got him at 20%. I mean, we need a guard, we need a center, but you could stash him on the practice squad. We're not going to need him.
Yeah, I have him down to like a 7%. Yeah. I don't think he'll make the team. I think he'll be on the practice squad, and he'll be a good project developer and stuff like that. But the biggest thing about him that they talked about was they don't like a lot of NFL analysts like things reporting about him, his draft. His draft profile and all that stuff say he's not a guard prospect at all. They're like he's center only.
Okay,
it's like, if that's all he can do, that knocks him down a bit. You know what I mean? And we need a backup center. You always have to have one, but we kind of do with Landon Dickerson. I mean, they're both, Dickerson and Jurgens are both centers, basically. Exactly. They're both centers in college. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where you don't really, I don't know. Is it?
I did hear that he's got a lot of really good with his feet. He's fast, he can move, he can pull. But, I mean, that's just a matter of, are we going to be able to use him, or we really need Cam to be the guy for the next 8 years?
I would, 7 to 9 years.
Yeah, we don't want – but you never know. You need to have a guy that you can pull up just in case. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I finally got it pulled up. Willie Lanier.
Okay.
They have him as
time player.
Best number 63 of all time.
That's a weird number for him. He's a linebacker.
Jeff Saturday.
Okay, center.
Gene Upshaw.
The coach for the Colts for a couple weeks.
That's true, yeah.
That's they say that Stout got Jason.
Oh, because of
Saturday. Because Saturday was not a huge center, and he was light on his feet and could do his thing. So that's kind of modeled his game after that. Or
definitely.
When he saw Jason, that's who he knew.
Yeah, definitely.
I can use this guy because that's where Stoutland came from. So.
All right, let's go ahead and jump over to some free agency stuff. Before we do that, I was going to do this in the intro, but I kind of forgot. Before we do that, my sister texted me and my family the other day and said, we leave your guys' podcast on while we leave because one of their dogs has a little bit of anxiety. And in the last few times we've done it, there's been no issues or anything like that. So we want to say hi to Kahlua.
That's right.
Hi, Kahlua girl. Who's a good girl?
Yep.
We want to say hi to Kahlua.
That's kind of cool, though. She she said he went out the other day, and it was like 3 hours they kept her out of the cage, and she
she was fine.
Did not,
have any mistakes,
rip up any pillows or tear on the couch. So you go, Kahlua.
Good girl. Okay.
We're here to help, right?
For sure. Let's jump into free agency, just some of the movements. We signed tackle Mekhi Becton to a 1-year contract. Former first-round pick in 2020. In 4 years, he's played in 31 games, started 30. So he's got a lot of experience. Some stuff about him. He didn't have many I remember his rookie year, he had a pretty darn good year. He's also number 77, which I like.
Oh, nice.
But
huge guy.
Rookie year, his first 2 seasons, he didn't have any holding penalties. Now, I think his second season, he only played one game or something like that.
Right, okay.
But he's had some false starts in his career, but pretty good on the holding portion. He only had 3 holding penalties last year. So, he played 16 games last year, started all 16. That's played 95% of the snaps. So the good thing about him is, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, he's not, he's not that great and yada, yada, yada. He's never lived up to his thing. I'm like, well, to me, he played 16 games last year.
Yes.
When a guy plays 16 games, that means he didn't suck enough for them to pull him out. You know what I mean?
That he did. He played 16 games in 2020, and last year he played 1 game. No. He played 16 games last year, and as he matured as a lineman, and I think he played for the Jets, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So we played the Jets last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
I didn't go back and look at it, but I think he held our guys.
There's a great video,
away from getting to their quarterback.
His video went viral when he destroyed Derek Barnett, and that was when we cut Barnett because of that.
Wow!
Remember, that was when he literally immediately pushed Barnett, and Barnett fell to the ground, and Becton stands there pointing at him, laughing.
Wow!
It was like a viral video.
Gotcha.
He was great. He also destroyed Reddick at one point. I will say I watched a video breaking it down, and he grabs Reddick's face mask, and I'm like, okay, why would you show that play? Why would you show that as a highlight?
They didn't replay it. That's why.
True. They didn't call it, but major hands to the face, and I'm like, and then the Josh Sweat too. I touched his face, and I'm like, okay, well, don't show these. You're making it look bad.
Yeah.
But no, he destroyed Barnett, so he's been good before. And the thing for me, like I said, if he plays 16 games at left tackle and starts all 16, that means he didn't suck enough for them to say, get out, put someone else in.
So what happened? Did they draft his replacement this year?
Yes, they did.
Okay, because I mean,
They got
a starter, and he wasn't awful.
Yeah, they got Fashanu this year.
Okay,
But they were probably paying,
a lot of eggs in one basket.
yeah, but they don't want to play a lot of that guy. They don't want to play back to them. They don't want to pay him that much.
Right.
Because if they were to re-sign him, they got to pay him more and everything.
15 or 20 million.
Yeah, because it's fifth-year option and stuff like that.
I heard we got, 5.5 or something is the contract? I believe that's what I heard.
I don't have it here.
I may be off, but that's what I thought I read. So
I like it. First-round pick. It's a good. It's a low-risk pick. I mean, it's not like he has to push in and start right away. No, he can compete. And if we need a backup left or right tackle, he may be able to do that.
So like a swing tackle.
Exactly.
Either side.
That's what he'll be.
That's a good move.
And he played right tackle in 2022. He started at right tackle.
Okay, so that sounds good.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think we may, down the road, have some holes.
Yeah.
Lincoln's healthy.
Some unfortunate news. Not really unfortunate, but just a bummer. Boston Scott going to the Rams.
Yeah.
I know it's not much Eagles news, but it is one of those things they like to talk about because he was a great player for us for, I believe, 6 years.
Yes.
A great Eagle through and through. Just another Eagle that portrayed what the city of Philadelphia likes.
Right. Blue collar,
small,
do your job,
worked hard.
Yes.
He didn't get handed a first round pick. He was a small guy,
undersized, definitely.
Who worked his butt off.
Yeah.
He got into the end zone every single time he was in the freaking red zone.
20 touchdowns is what I heard for a part-time non-starter.
It's pretty incredible.
He did have a few starts with us, of course.
Obviously, the whole giant killer thing was great for a while.
Well, that's fun.
Really fumbled against the Giants.
Well, that's the thing. We want to wipe that from our memory. So that's kind of the last memory I have of him. It's a bummer. Yeah. But, I always loved when he came in and he would score and we didn't have to do the tush. We could just give it to Boston. He'd sneak behind those big guys and find an end zone. And he had 3 touchdowns. That one Giants game was amazing. Yeah. It was awesome.
So 6 years with us. 12 touchdowns. Or, sorry. 6 years with us, 1,295 yards, almost 1,300 yards. Average of 4.3 a carry.
I was going to say
16 touchdowns, 19 including 3 he had in the playoffs.
Down a reception somewhere or a kickoff or something.
Oh yeah, he definitely had.
Yeah, it was 20.
He had some. He had a receiving touchdown as well, and then in the playoffs he had 3 touchdowns with us, so 20 touchdowns total. But great player that we all loved. There's not a single Eagles fan out there that.
The worst thing about it was last year. I just remember,
why are we not using him?
Not used. You got to have a swing play. He was great in the flat. We just I don't. Well, it goes back to the offense coordinator. So
Sirianni didn't like him or something. I don't know. I don't want to speak too much to it. But
didn't call the offense coordinator whatever we had going on.
He was one of Doug's guys. He was from that regime.
Right. I agree. But he was great for us all the time. He was. He plopped in. I was several games he didn't start, but he came in when somebody went down, and he get 40, 50 yards exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a shame. We liked him a lot.
So he's on the Rams, so we'll keep an eye on him this year, see how he does. Hopefully he gets to play.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's, 29, I think,
he's only 29.
Yeah.
He's only 29. Let's talk about some of the undrafted free agents. We don't spend too much time on them because we don't really know these guys very much.
I agree.
What is happening?
That's me. Sorry.
Okay. We signed a tackle. Man, I don't even know how to say this name. Gottlieb Ayedzi. I don't even know. I'm sorry. Tight end McCallan Castles. Tackle Anim Denkwa. Defensive tackle Gabe Hall, running back Kendall Milton, safety Andre Sam, and tackle Lakin Vakalahi. I don't know. Okay. He's the roster exception because he's a foreign player. Okay. Another Australian guy who's 300 pounds. I'll take that. Let's see what we got there.
That's to develop a guy. He doesn't count against your roster either.
Exactly. That's
something, practice squad or whatever.
Some other sports real quick. We'll kind of breeze through it. 76ers, bummer. Gone. Don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you can see it coming.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
just terrible. Terrible officiating, terrible playing. Tobias Harris. It's a win-win situation. If we'd won, we stay in the playoffs. By losing, we're done with Tobias Harris. We don't have to watch him play for the Sixers again.
Yeah, I know you were.
Might be one of the worst Sixers. Might be one of the worst Sixers of the last 10 years. I think it might be.
Well, I mean, the overtime thriller was nice. You got a little. Yeah,
it was fun.
Little pudding after dinner. So
got to have his moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Breakout. Max is great.
I watched a few minutes of it, and I could just tell they just didn't have it, and so the Knicks were just hot at the same time.
So now we're just going anyone but Boston is what we're cheering for at this point. Anyone but Boston.
That's right.
And anyone but Boston and the Knicks would be great. I hate New York too. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Phillies. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 12. 10 of their last 12. They won 4 of their last 5 series. They lead the NL East, which is great. First time they've done that since, I believe, April of last year. Maybe it's 2022, actually. It's kind of wild. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Led the division.
So. Yeah. So nice to have the lead in the NL East. We never get to see that very much. They're playing the Giants tonight. They're looking to win their 5th of their last 6 series. And even of their last 6, when I said 4 of their last 5 they won, the 5th one they tied. It was a 2-2 series.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't even a loss, really. But looking to win another series here against the Giants. They had a good comeback win yesterday. Unfortunately, Trey Turner got hurt a little bit, some hamstring soreness, so he'll be out for a few games, unfortunately. So we'll get Edmundo Sosa in there at shortstop, most likely. Maybe Whit Merrifield to take a spot.
Right.
The Union, they've lost their last 2. They do play tonight against the DC United. They're 3-2-4 on the season. They've only lost twice, like I said. It was those last 2.
Yeah.
So
they're a good team.
They are a good team. I don't know about DC. They lost when they lost to Salt Lake. I don't know how good they are either. I don't know. We try our best. We try our best to stay involved, but we don't know that much. Keeps them in 7th in the Eastern Conference. It's funny how much it changes. They were first a few weeks ago. It's funny how it just jumps around.
It's early.
Yeah, definitely
way early.
And the Flyers, I got nothing. It's the end of the season, so there's nothing to talk about there. But let's say our outro. Are you done?
I'm good. Yeah, no, it was great.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe down below. Comment how you feel about the draft, how you feel about the players, percentages, the numbers. Tell us if you like numbers or not. If you don't like numbers, I don't care. If you do, that's
awesome. Got a jersey for you.
Exactly.
I looked for a 54 on eBay. Couldn't find any.
Everyone's buying them.
Cheap ones, yeah. I was just trying to find that,
Yeah. You can email us your questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm a Kahlua lover.
And we love you, Kahlua. Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.